Hello and welcome back to an insane puzzle. Even if this seems visually impossible and black has an extra bishop, white can actually draw this game with the correct play. So, are you up to the challenge? We have two main problems in this position. First, we can never catch this pawn if we start chasing him. Secondly, even if our pawn is closer to the promotion, black can stop this very easily with bishop b5 and trade his bishop for our new queen. And after that he can easily go and promote his own pawn. So, how are we dealing with this? We need a move to create multiple threats, and the first move is king to e7. Black will go to g5 and now what? I don't know if you saw my video about the Reti endgame study. If not, I will have the video linked in the description. But we will apply the same technique over here. As I said, we need a move that will create multiple threats. In our position, the multiple threats are 1. Stopping this pawn, and 2. Stopping the bishop somehow and limit his move to a square from which he cannot attack the e8 square. So, bearing all of this in mind, can you tell me the next move? If you said king f6, the most logical and natural move, attacking the pawn while also going to protect the h5 square, unfortunately you will be wrong and you will lose this game. Black will push the pawn, and even if you push the pawn as well, black has this defense with bishop b5, stopping you from promoting, and you can catch the enemy pawn. But if you said king d6, congratulations, you are on the correct drawing path. As you saw in the last example, when we moved to f6 first, that with the move pawn g4, black interfered with his own bishop, blocking him to go to h5 if he ever needed. So, now, white's only choice if he will push his pawn is to move to b5. Here, we need to move the pawn first, because if we start with king c5, thinking to secure that b5 square first, black will push his pawn again, clearing the bishop path, so he could control the e8 square from the other side of the board, and once again we are losing this. Okay, so we have pawn e7, bishop e5, and now what your next move should be. We can see from the square that the king couldn't stop black from promoting. So the only move left here is to attack the black bishop, right? Now, the square rule, for those of you who don't know about it, is this. You start drawing counting the square from the pawn up until the promotion. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 square left. Now, you draw a line which is equal to the number of the square left until the promotion is reached. You draw a line down and on the other side. And with that you make a square. In our case, we have a 4-line square. This is the square, or the box, but what does this actually mean? Well, it means that if the enemy king can enter the square on his move, then he can stop your pawn from promoting. Now, entering the square means the edges as well, in our case d4, e4, f4 or g4. So, if we can arrive on either one of those squares, we can stop that pawn from promoting. But as we can see, we cannot do that right now, so the only option left is king to c5. Black step back to a4, and now I will invite you to pause the video and tell me the next move that saves the game for white. A little hint over here, use inspiration from the Reti endgame. If you would have said king before, thinking that all you have to do here is to chase that bishop, I have some bad news for you. This is now a win for black. He will go to e8, and as you can see from the box, we won't be in time to catch that pawn. But what if we distract black with a promotion and go after the pawn afterward? In this way, we step into the square and we are able to stop black from promoting, right? If you found that move, congratulations, you will be wrong once again. Yes, this logic would work only if black would play all those moves. But unfortunately for you, after you arrive on e3, black wouldn't push to g2, but he would move bishop h5, cutting you out. As you can see, you can't go to either f3 or e2 because of the bishop, and you can go to f2 because of the pawn. So your only option here is either f4 or d2, but both moves will make you late in stopping that promotion. So, what is the correct answer here? The drawing idea and the correct move is king to d4, stepping into the square and be ready to react to everything black will throw at you. Pawn g3, we have king e3, pawn g2, king f2, and we are now on time to stop that promotion. Even if black tries to defend against this with bishop c6, we will gladly sack our new queen in order to draw this game. Now, black has some tricks up his sleeve and won't let you draw this game so easily, so let's look at some possible responses from black. Maybe after king e3, black wouldn't push the pawn right away, but instead will go bishop c6, cutting your path and forcing you to make a detour, slowing you down and not being able to stop the pawn. If black will try that again, we will sacrifice our pawn, and with his pawn on a dark square, he has no way of defending it with his bishop, so we can simply take it. Okay, going all the way back to c5. What if the bishop will go to e8 instead of being forced to guard that square from a4? I mean, he will stop worrying about you promoting. Well, if you do that, again, we draw our square and see that we can step inside of it, meaning that we can catch it and stop the promotion. Okay, so let's get back to the origin and see if you can draw this endgame if black will start this with bishop h5. First of all, we can't apply the same strategy, because the whole reason we have gone to c5 was to try and kick the bishop away and promote to a queen. Now that he is on this side of the board, the only logical move is to play f6 first and try to keep him out somehow from there. The challenging part here is that in this scenario with bishop on h5, black will start using his king as well. And if you can't play king g5 here, because you can't take either the pawn or the bishop. And by doing that, you would allow black to play king c5, arriving into your square, meaning that now black can stop you from promoting with his king. And if you are going back trying to protect your pawn, black will play king d6, and this move will put you in a zugzwang. So, take a second and think about the next move here. If you said maybe king e5, thinking to keep an eye on the pawn if you will advance, while preventing black from going to d6, sadly you will be wrong again. Black would play king c7 and he will place himself in front of your own pawn. And if you are trying to stop that, too bad for you. Pawn g5 is a discovery check, and now you will never cast that pawn or promote your own. Because if you go after black bishop, black will promote next turn, or he can stop the promotion by putting his king in front of your pawn. Multiple way of doing this. The drawing move is the same here, with pawn e7, black is forced to move to g5 to make sure you won't promote, and you can take the pawn after that and draw the game. What a puzzle. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I strongly recommend to see my video about the Reti endgame study. It's very similar to this, but with an even more challenging position for white. So, see you on that video. Bye bye.